Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and berries, it's your friend Magic Brad here at an undisclosed location called the Magic Lounge, which is a secret room in my place of residence. So today we're going to talk about travel. If you've ever done that, I've gone to different places. I've been to Bali, I've been to Jamaica, I've been to Costa Rica, I've been to Brazil, I've been to Paraguay, Uruguay, Chile, Hawaii, Arizona, Wisconsin, Fridley. I grew up in Fridley, Minnesota. So I'm going to go get my friend Cindy. Stand by. She's in the green room. We've got her back there, and I got to pull her away from all the virtual hors d'oeuvres and stuff we've got. Cindy Lee, come out here.
Hi. How are you?
Hey, Cindy Lee, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm going to share your post right now.
That's our post now. You're here with me, Synergy.
There we go.
Wonderful. How's things going out in your part of the world? You're out in the West Coast.
Something like 80s.
Have you ever met that Chanel West Coast chick?
Mm-mm.
You know who that is?
No.
She's like a rapper, and she's on that Ridiculousness show. She's one of the guests on there. She's, Hollywood celebrities and stuff like that. So we're talking travel. I even got a little banner thing that I put up here. Want to take a peek, see at that? Let's talk travel, leisure, retreats, weddings, corporate, because you know about that stuff.
I would say so.
Yes. So for those that don't know, Cindy is one of the surviving breeds of the travel agents that are sort of obsolete nowadays and endangered species, so to speak. But she's paving the way and still making it happen for people. Do you focus on a specific area, like some people target like Italy and Europe or Asia, or are you kind of like wherever you want to go, I'll take care of you?
Well, I can book anything and anywhere, but some of my specialty areas is Mexico. I love booking Mexico, especially Cabo, Playa del Carmen, Cancun, Puerto Vallarta.
I've been to Cabo. Saw that little rock arch formation thing. I did a little thing out there.
Land's End.
Is that what it is? I don't know. I just know that it's a landmark. I got bit by a scorpion in Tulum once.
Oh, wow.
It was just a little one. Wasn't poisonous, just bit me. But you travel agents know about that kind of stuff, whether certain things are poisonous or not. Sometimes, because you've been there, done that, heard stories.
Sometimes, yes. Well, even when I lived in Scottsdale, Arizona, we actually had to cover the bottom of our door jamb a certain way because those little suckers just try to crawl right in there.
There you go.
And they're not very pleasant.
Well, I remember seeing some of them in Thailand. They're about the size of your hand going across the street. And I guess those aren't poisonous. It's the small ones you got to worry about. But this one in Tulum was not a poisonous one. The guy told me that's no big deal.
Oh, okay.
But good. I'm not going to die on this vacation. You know what I really like about travel? It's the anticipation before you go. Then while you're there, and then when you get back, you got a story to tell. So I got very memorable situations of going to Jamaica and going to Bali, Indonesia, and the trip in the airport and all that kind of stuff. Do you book like people for destination weddings where you got to coordinate groups of people to go down?
I do. I'm actually working right now trying to get some stuff together with Riu Palace. And after the show, I'm actually going to apply as a social media influencer with the Riu whole chain. So I'm crossing my fingers about that.
I'm going to put your little logo thing up here in case people want to get a hold of you. There it is, bucket list coach travel. So if you haven't done something on your bucket list, Cindy can hook you up. Yeah. What are some of the places that you've personally gone that are bizarre and exotic?
Well, I want to say what I went for my 50th birthday. Actually, there was like 14 of us who went to New Orleans. And I just want to say, if you're not a big drinker, that there's so much history in New Orleans, and it's not really about the drinking. It's about just partaking in the history. I have my really good friend actually owns the Haunted History Tour. I've been on the Culinary Tour, which is really, really amazing. I also donate to Boys and Girls Club when I'm there locally, just to kind of make a little bit of a pay it forward vacation.
Now, when you get clients that some of them want things lined up for them, and you have others that just say, just plant me here and I'll figure things out on my own, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm kind of more that kind of way. It's like, I just need a roof over my head and a place to take a shower, and then let me go find whatever I need to find when I want to find it.
Exactly.
But there are people that do want cross all the T's, dot all the I's, and I thought there was going to be 2 beds in here.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's one of the things I ask when I'm booking a vacation. I need full details, and a lot of people don't really realize that travel agents, they work very hard at getting the perfect booking. So in order to get the correct quote, so your quote is exactly what it's supposed to be, it's really important that you tell your travel agent exactly what you want. And if you've done research, what kind of bed, what the hotel is, like if it's an ocean view or partial ocean view, because all that plays a factor in booking and getting you the right quote.
Right. And you kind of you actually have personal relationships with the staff, so you're talking about real stuff rather than pictures that were taken from certain angles and all that kind of stuff. I used to check the places out. You'd see their digital brochure, and then you go on YouTube and you find out people talking about, yeah, we were here and you should have seen it. And you see the real place.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good to know that there's somebody like you that can kind of like curate, I guess, might be, or select or vet out any of that stuff that's questionable, because that's the last thing you want to do is spend a bunch of money on a vacation and have somebody give you excuses as to why there's jackhammers going on at 7 o'clock in the morning.
And that's why it's important to book with a travel agent and not a third party, a big box company. Because like say, for instance, I am an agent with Expedia, but a lot of times there is issues with the third parties because you don't really deal with Expedia. You still have to call the supplier. So that's a little bit of a tip there for if you're booking your own travel.
Yep. And you probably have certain little numbers in your phone that other people wouldn't be able to get.
Exactly.
Like when we used to do a vacation in Jamaica, we knew the guy that actually owned the villas.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it was kind of cool. We kind of went right into the actual owner. He'd come over and talk with us. Ironically, it was kind of interesting because he had 3 villas. One was right next to Keith Richards, the Rolling Stones.
Oh, wow.
But this kid back then, he was like 23 years old, and he's from Colombia, and he was a pilot.
Wow.
So you kind of know what his business is, right? Anyways, you can make sure that people don't get into those kind of situations. We kind of just fell into it, and we liked the guy and everything like that. But if a person wants to stay away from that kind of stuff, it's nice to have a travel agent that kind of knows, don't go this way, go that way. That happened to us in Brazil. We were in Rio de Janeiro, and the guy told us, don't go this way. Not good to go this way. You go this way, it's fine. Don't go that way. So which way do we go? That way. And we had pickpocketers and all that kind of stuff. So sometimes it's good to listen to people.
Yes, and you always want to go, like for instance, like for an excursion, you could do Viator. I have a couple other excursion partners that I have. But when you, like, say, if you're going to Jamaica or Cabo or, in any place really that you're not familiar with, you don't really want to go with someone who just comes up to you. Hey, I'll give you a ride for $10. So you really want to go with a certified partner that you could trust.
That creeped me out a little bit when I was in Thailand, because I got in this guy didn't speak any English, and they just created another airport. So he's taking me to the airport, really? And it's dark. I don't know where I'm going. And the thing is, with Thailand, it doesn't have, the characters, their characters. They look like a printed circuit board. You have no idea where you really are, and it's dark. And I'm wondering, is he taking me into the jungle or what? I don't know what's going on. So it's nice to have someone that knows what they're doing. And I had another question for you, and it passed through my head. That happens to me sometimes. I'm a Gemini, so I got things going on both sides. Myself is talking to myself, trying to figure things out. But I think it's important that a lot of people don't realize how important it is to have someone to kind of pave the way, because there's things that that you can kind of set them up with, like tours and things. And another example is, I remember when we first went to Jamaica, because I could be a travel agent for Jamaica from back when I learned all this, but wow, we would not want to give anybody a $5 tip because they want to carry our luggage. There's all these guys who want to take your luggage. Yeah, I'm gonna help you. I'll help you. And we would be scared at first, and then we realized we gave the porter in Minneapolis $20 to carry from the curb to the car, and we won't give this guy $5 to carry 10 guys' luggage over to a van that's 50 feet away. So we realized that, we can give this guy $20 and he'll be our buddy.
Exactly. And that's actually what we did. We have an annual trip to Cabo during the Black and Blue, which is the Bisbees. It's a huge fishing tournament, one of the largest fishing tournaments. And this year we're going the 18th through 25th of October.
Okay.
But one of the tips that I could give, if you're staying at the resort, and especially all inclusive, you want to tip like the pool waiter. You want to tip him, and he'll take care of you all day. So it's so important. Although you paid for the vacation, you also want to give tips during that vacation. It's so crucial because they work very hard every single day.
We used to do that in Jamaica. There was a guy who used to have a Batman hat on.
Oh,
and we nicknamed him Pad Man because we go out to the beach and he would bring the pads for the chairs. We'd get to the beach in the morning and we go Pad Man, and all of a sudden he'd show up with a pad.
That's awesome.
And we're all set, and we flip him a couple of J. And yeah, I remember what it was. There's people like you that realize that, if you're going somewhere out of the country, you better get that passport renewed. You are on top of stuff like that some people, they think, oh, it's no big deal. I'll just use my driver's license. No, you won't. It's not going to work for you. So you take care of people. You're kind of like holding their hand through this process that they might not know about.
Well, as an example, if you take a cruise from like a U.S. port, then you're okay when you're at those ports. But say something happens, say you fall and you break your knee or you shatter your ankle or whatever, it's really important that you have that passport. You can get out of that country a little quicker. Yeah, versus if you just have like your driver's license and your birth certificate. It's so much better to have that passport.
Yeah, my wife had a situation. She went down to, I think it was like Peru or something like that.
Oh, wow.
And she speaks very fluent Spanish, even with an accent, because she taught Spanish at the University of Minnesota, so she speaks very good. Nice. And she went on a trip down there, and the tour guide person just kind of brought her across because he thought that she lived in Peru. Now to get back, where's your documentation?
Oh, wow.
So they just kind of went in easy because he thought, well, you're native. But she wasn't native. So now to get back to the other side, it's uh-oh. So he was like, what's the matter with you? Why didn't you tell me you were Spanish?
Oh, wow.
Travel is fun. It's interesting seeing other cultures. And I think people should get out and experience some of that stuff, the way people live in different ways, because it's sort of an eye-opener. Like people used to say that people in Parisians, Paris, they're rude. They say the French people are rude. I didn't find them rude. I thought that they take care of business. If you're looking at the menu and you're not ordering, they step in front of you. That's because you're not ordering. I'm going to get it done. They're not being rude stepping in front of you. It's a cultural kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And I guess you can help people with that too, because there's situations like, I understand in Japan, when you get a business card from somebody, you're supposed to, respect it. You don't just grab it and start spindling it and put it in your pocket. You respect it. Yes, you acknowledge it. So a culture, I think, is you got to know something a little bit about the Mexican culture, so you can tell people, how to act. Like in Bali, you don't go into the temples wearing shorts and a bikini. There's some respect for the culture.
And yeah, one of the things I'm doing is kind of mixing of what I see in movies into a vacation. Like you've heard of the movie Eat, Pray, Love.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually have connected with a local paint party person here in Southern California. And here in the month of May, we're actually going to have an Eat, Pray, Love paint party. And then next year, we're going to actually go to Europe and do some of those things that were featured in the movie. So it's a really great way to have ideas on what you can do for vacation.
Right. You can actually build upon it, do other things. I remember I lived in Asheville, North Carolina for a while, and there's a photographer there that would do photography tours. And you just bring your cell phone, and he would teach you how to take pictures of the architecture and things. But that led into a trip that he took people to, I think it was Tuscany or something like that. So he had.
And are you still connected to him?
God, no.
Because Viator does that too. They have some stuff in LA and different parts of the country where you could actually take a Viator excursion, and it's with a photographer. They're actually showing you like how to do the photography. I think that's really
well. I'm sure you could hook yourself up with anybody anywhere you want. And if you could template that out, I mean, this would be for you, or it'd be for someone that's creative and wants to have someone else pay for their trip. Put together a little event like that. You bring in a photographer, say, hey, you want a free trip to Cabo? You be the photographer. We're going to put together a photography event. and get everybody to pay a little bit more. Have
Mhm.
Cindy organize it all and book up all the travel, and you got 15, 20 people going out with their iPhones taking pictures of dolphins,
Exactly.
having fun. What are you going to do? Where's this all going with this? You see it? You're going to kind of retire as far as travel stuff, because this COVID thing must have discouraged people a little bit from traveling.
I think the only thing that's going to stop the industry is if it's a requirement to have the vaccine passport. Because most of my clients, they won't travel again. But I think it's really important that we're not mandated for that.
Okay.
Because
Yeah,
we're
I don't
gonna
think
travel is opening up a lot right now. A lot
you're
of
going to
stuff is
stop
opening up.
people. You're not going to stop people from getting around. They gotta move.
Mhm.
So I think
Mhm.
you're in a pretty secure business, but I just kind of wonder, are you burnt out from it, or are you still very energetic and excited about the travel business?
No, I love it. I've been wanting to be a travel agent since I was 18, and years back in 2012, I was in a 12, excuse me, travel MLM type system. And I really like being a travel agent with my agency. We're one of the only agencies that actually can do net pricing, which means, like, for instance, when I go to Cabo, instead of waiting for my commission a month or so later, I actually take in the net pricing. So that means if there's a $300 commission, I could actually subtract that from the cost of my trip. So I really like the fact that I could do that.
Yep, I remember I was a travel agent for a while, if kind of an
Oh,
agent. I
nice.
was IntelliTravel. Do you remember that?
Mhm.
Yeah, I was an IntelliTravel person.
So how does that work? Are you an actual travel agent, or do you just get credit? Not really a
This was
check in the
years
mail.
ago. I think it was just,
Yeah.
almost like an affiliate program kind of
Mhm.
situation. But they did have a thing you had to read and understand to get maybe a little bit of certification. You get a little badge or something like that. I don't think it was
Oh, wow.
like what is it? IATAN?
I attend, CLIA, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta. Some people don't know what that stuff is. CLIA is Cruise Line Industry Association or something like that, and IATAN is that international travel.
It's just your code that you give when you're booking. Like, for
Mhm.
instance, here in, we're gonna be doing Catalina at the same weekend we're doing the paint party. So I'll just give them my travel agent number, and I'll book the Catalina Express, and then a couple weeks later, I get a little check in the mail. So it's kind of nice.
Well, those are the things that sort of separate the wannabes from the actual legitimate travel people. Is you got to give a real code so they go, okay, you're the real deal. Yes, you can have a comped room, to take care of your group and all that stuff. But because there's a lot of that, the internet has kind of triggered a lot of that kind of fluffy stuff. It's
Mhm.
happened in my magical industry. There
Yeah.
used to be dealers that the only way you could get product is by being a dealer, and then you can get it from the manufacturer to resell at a retail price. But now it's kind of like, okay, we'll give it to everybody anywhere, and it's gotten pretty muddy. So it's good
And
that
there's ways that you can save money on travel too. If you are a blogger or a YouTuber, and like I
Mhm.
mentioned earlier, you could contact certain resorts and hotel groups, and they will work with you. They'll give you either a discount on the hotel, or they could give you a couple free nights if you
Sure.
post on social media, you plug their website, et cetera, et cetera. And
And I
especially
suppose
those who have a lot of brand, a lot of people following their branding.
you probably know some people like that, so you can kind of make that connection because you are the connector.
Yeah.
I know you're a networker kind of person. Well, we've been going about 18 minutes, and I try and keep these a little condensed because of the bandwidth. We don't got a lot of time. 24 hours, is that what you get every day? I get I get 24.
Mm.
I think it's
I'm not
24.
sure. Yeah, I have a pretty good network. I know when I do videos, like on my phone, though, it's pixelated. Like, I tried to do a live earlier for April Fool's Day, and I ended up just doing StreamYard. So
I like StreamYard.
yeah,
StreamYard works good.
yeah.
Was there anything else you can share with us? Any more wisdom that you can share with your travel business?
Do you have a few minutes to talk about retreats? Because I'm connected
Yes.
to people who are doing
Yeah.
yoga and surf lessons and stuff like that. Is that something that
Oh,
we could
sure
move
we can.
forward in 2022?
Absolutely. In fact, we had talked a little bit about that, about surfing in Bali. The
Oh yeah.
Lovina, the North Bali area. So when you get your Eat, Pray, Love people going over to Bali, they might as well pack their surfboards and bring them with, or they could rent them in Lovina, I guess.
Mm-hmm. It's very cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, the retreat business is interesting because you work with one coordinator that brings their crew with them. You can find that one.
Exactly.
Hey, we could talk about that too if you want tips and ideas, because I was doing some retreat stuff and I compiled a lot of that information. Like there's a website called Retreat Finder, I think it is.
Oh, really?
And
Okay.
you can find all these different retreat centers, and then it's got people that have retreats scheduled, and you can make that connection with that retreat planner. And of course, they're bringing their crew of yogis with them. So
Mhm.
you could work with one person and say, I'd like to be your designated travel agent for this bunch of yogis.
Yeah, I actually want to do something either this year or early next year because I have some connection to some yoga instructors and some connections to some hotels. So I'm thinking about doing something like that here at the Huntington Laguna Beach area because there's a lot of really nice beach resorts out here.
Or do like a local retreat
Mhm.
getaway.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Do a little mini surf contest.
exactly. And I have a great surf coach, so I'm sure he would be, more than willing to, use his services as a part of the retreat.
Absolutely. It
Yeah.
could be a sponsor, right?
Mhm.
Well, very cool. Is there anything else? Other than that, I'm going to sign this off. And I do have more virtual snacks back there. We replenished them all, so they're all fresh.
One thing that I think is so important to your audience, how many do you think actually book their own vacation?
What percentage
Let's say
of people?
some close friends of yours, do they book their own vacation or do they go through third party or do they do a travel agent service?
I think most of my people I know personally do their own. They might go and do something through the AAA organization,
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
perhaps. Yeah, but a lot of people do book, and I just don't like the idea of working through those Travelocity and Orbits and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I can just
If you run
imagine.
into a problem, you're in a little
Yeah.
bit of a
If it all
situation there.
works good, it's good. But if something happens, it's like, I'm sorry, we don't handle that. Oh God, what am I going to do? How am I going to get home? I'm stuck here. Oh, we're going to talk a little bit about solo travelers. So let's chat about that maybe.
Yeah, so I do have an article on Bucket List Coach Travel on Facebook, and to be a solo traveler, it's actually really fun. I did it when I was single, and also if you're married and your spouse can't travel with you, it's just great to get out there and experience. One of the best tips actually is to become a travel agent. That way you get perks on those hotels and excursions. Or become a social media influencer, start a YouTube page, start a StreamYard that you're talking about travel. So you're starting to get connected that way. And it's a really great way to meet people who have the same interests as you. Like you could stay at a hostel. Hostels are really fun. Have you stayed at a hostel before?
I have not. I have not.
Yeah, it is an absolute blast.
I
So
stayed in
it's
a
a younger
monastery.
crowd, but it all originated in Europe, and now they have it here in the U.S. So we have one, Lucky D's Hostel, that we go to in San Diego that we totally love, and it's
I've
great.
definitely
It's almost
seen
like kind of like a B&B, breakfast, bed and
Yep.
breakfast. Yeah.
Yep, I've definitely seen those places.
Yeah.
I've never really stayed in one. Well, so people could maybe contact you for ideas on something like that. Like if someone says, I've never been to Cabo and I've always wanted to go
Mhm.
as a solo traveler. So why not maybe start a little blog, because it's easy, it's cheap enough to do that nowadays, and then
Mhm.
do some research, find all the people that are in Cabo that are vendors or suppliers to whatever. Like you got a dive shop and you got a deep sea fishing place and you got a hotel and a hostel and a tour agency or whatever. Buddy up with all those people and start marketing for them. They'll start paying you to bring a crew down there, and you're just blogging away. And then you go down there, you got a free place to stay. You got a bunch of friends that you met.
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
can
and
do
also Airbnb activities. So I actually want to be a vendor with them. So on the local level or wherever there's an Airbnb, and so say for instance someone is coming to Minnesota and they're staying at an Airbnb, they look under Airbnb activities and actually they could see all the different things that they could do in your area. So
Mhm.
Airbnb is really great to add. Like you could even come up with your own excursion. Just figure out the plan and then you could add it to the Airbnb activity.
You can get creative
Oh,
like that.
yeah.
A lot of people sometimes they limit themselves to this traditional way that it's supposed to be, and they got to think without a box,
Mhm.
expand the mind.
Yeah.
Well, cool, Cindy Lee. If there's
Thank
nothing else
you.
you want to share, I'm going to pop you into the green room and sign this one off. And then if you want, we'll have a little chat. Maybe we'll go have a virtual cocktail. I don't drink, but I can have like an iced tea or something.
Okay.
I love
well,
this virtual
aloha.
stuff.
Thank
It's
you.
very affordable. Aloha. Peace. Thank you, Cindy Lee.
Bye.
Well, wasn't that fun? Cindy Lee, the connector. She connects all sorts of people. She's like, if you've seen her on the internet, she's like a social butterfly popping all over from primarily Facebook, but TikTok, and I think she's got Instagram account and all that kind of stuff. Just Google her, Cindy Lee Connector. So that's it for me. Peace, love, and happiness. This is Magic Brad signing off. Enjoy the rest of your life, your day. Be good, be kind, be nice, be friendly.